number 1, an investor owns stocks A, B, and C. What is the mean change in value of the stocks? So first of all, we see this word mean. And another word for mean is what? Average. Okay? And the way we remember that is
When you get a report card and see bad grades, it teaches me.
right. When you get your report card and see your average, you usually think that I'm mean. Okay? So I'm looking for under the change. So I'm looking at this column. All right? So how do I find mean? What's my steps?
You add them all together and divide by 2.
Number 1, I add. And number 2, I do what? Divide. All right, so the first step, remember I'm only looking at this column. I'm going to combine my negatives first. So remember my rules. If I'm adding 2 negatives,
Makes positive.
remember it's the same sign, so I add and keep the sign, right? So I've got a negative 180.39 plus a negative 280.52. 9 plus 2 is 11. 1 plus 3 is 4. Plus 5 is
9.
0 plus 0 is 0. 8 plus 8 is...
15.
I'm just adding, y'all. 1 plus 1 is 2. Plus 2 is 4.
4.
That's all I was doing was adding. And remember, I keep the sign, which is negative. Am I done?
No.
Now, all I've done so far is I've added that and I've added that. But I also need to add that positive. So to that, I'm going to add 127.28. Now, notice that they're different signs. They're a negative plus a positive. So what are you really doing? All right, so when I add a negative, they're different signs, so I end up subtracting and keeping the sign of the greater number. So over here, I'm going to do 460.91 minus 127.28. And then we just do that math. Can I take 8 from 1? I have to borrow. Can I take 7 from 0?
No.
So I borrow 10 minus 7 is 3. 5 minus 2 is 3. 4 minus 1 is 3. Is this going to be a positive or negative?
Negative.
We know that because looking at these two numbers, 460 is a higher absolute value, and that's a negative. So my answer is 333.63 cents. Am I done?
No.
No, because I've only done the first step of finding mean. What's the second step?
Divide.
Divide. All right, so over here, what do I divide by?
3.
How did you know it was 3?
Because it's 3 numbers.
Because there's 3 numbers. So 333.63 divided by 3. Now, before I do any math, a negative divided by a positive is a negative, different sign. So right off the bat, I can mark off these two, can't I? Okay, because I need a negative answer. And if I'm dividing 333 divided by 3, is it going to be that one?
No.
So before I do any math, I can solve for C. But go ahead and let's figure it out. We do know that 111 times 3 would be 333. So your answer should be C. All right, Carolina has built her dog a bed that is 2 1/8 feet wide and 5 1/3 feet long. Find the area of the bed. What's the formula for area? Length times width. So the first thing I want you to do is write down area equals length times width. And that's just my formula I want to go ahead and write down. So now what's my length? 5 1/3 times 2 1/8. Now, we've talked about before if you prefer to do operations as fractions or decimals. And a lot of times, last week especially on your mastery check, you guys decided to turn them into decimals. Here's our struggle. 1/3 is a repeating decimal, which is not easy to do your math with. So I want you to leave it as a fraction. Now, I can't leave it as a mixed number, so what do I need to make it into? An improper fraction. So I do that by multiplying my denominator by my whole number. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16 over 3, times 2 times 8 is 16, plus 1 is 17 over 8. Okay? Do what? No, so our rules for multiplying fractions, you just multiply straight across, numerator and denominator. So 16 times 7, let's come up here and do that. 16 times 7, 7 times 6 is
16 times 17.
7. 16 times 17.
It's 11.
What's 7 times 6?
42.
7 times 1 plus 4 is 0.
It's 272.
So it's 272. Am I done?
No,
All right, now I need 3 times 8 is
24.
24. Now I divide out. So I can't leave my answer like this, so I'm going to do 272 divided by 24. Because my numerator gets divided. 24 goes into 27 one time. Bring down my 2. How many times does 24 go into 32? 1. And I'm left with 8. Now remember in elementary school you were taught to put an R with the remainder, right?
Yes.
But what is the actual, what do we do with it now?
Put
8
8
to
to
0.
That's going to be my numerator. Okay, so this is my whole number. 11 and 8 24s. Now, is that the best answer?
No, 11 and 1/3.
I can simplify. 8 is a factor of both the top number and the bottom.
Not 8.
So it's going to be what?
1/3.
8 and 1, or 11 and 1/3. Now, don't forget that I have to put the units. Very good. So what's my units? Feet squared. What value of h makes the equation true? So this is a two-step equation. What's my goal in a two-step equation? To get my variable alone. That's my variable, right? So let me rewrite this down here. So first I know that I want to deal with the side with the variable, but the one that's not attached, right? Which is what? That 0.8, that 8/10, right? So how do I get it on the other side? I'm going to subtract 0.8 from each side. Now those cancel, and I've got 0.4 h equals a negative 1.2 minus a 0.8 would be, oh gosh, would be a negative 2. Here's why. Think about it in terms of money. If I've got $1.20 and I add 80 cents, it's $2 whole. That's how I got that. Yes, you got a question? Yeah. All right, so now instead of leaving my variable in the denominator, I want to go ahead and move it to the other side. So to do that, I'm going to multiply both sides by h. These guys are going to cancel, and I'll have negative 4/10 equals negative 2h. Now I have a one-step equation. I need to get my variable alone. Right now it's doing what with that h? It's being multiplied. So what's the opposite of multiplication?
Divide.
So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2. Before I do the math, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So I know my answer is going to be positive. So before doing any math, I know it's not C or D. Okay? Now I've got 4/10 divided by 2. Bring up my decimal. 4 divided by 2 is 2. So your answer should be B. Tony had $425.80 in his checking account. After making his car payment of $630 on Monday, how much is left in his account? Once Tony made his car payment, on Tuesday he deposited a check for $295.76, withdrew $40, and then bought $35.99 worth of gas. What is his balance on Tuesday? So first let's underline keywords. So I know that he had $425 in his checking account. So that was his balance, right? After making his car payment of $630, so if he makes a car payment, is he earning or spending? Which means what operation are we going to do?
Subtract.
Okay, so let's start there. Let's do $425.80 minus $630. So what do you notice right at the top?
Negative.
He doesn't have enough money. He's in the negative. Okay? his bank's gonna come knocking on his door. So what do I need to switch these numbers, don't I?
Yes.
So I need to do 630. I'm gonna put a decimal with my zeros minus $425.80. And I know I was just told that my answer is gonna be negative because he spends more than he has. And my higher absolute value is the 630. So 0 minus 0 is,
0.
can I take 8 from 0?
No.
So I have to borrow, but can I borrow from there?
No.
Can I borrow here? Make that into a 9, and now this is 10. 10 minus 8 is
2.
2. Bring down my decimal. 9 minus 5 is
4.
2 minus 2.
0.
6 minus 4 is
2.
So right now he's in the red or negative $204.20. So we've taken care of those two things. Once Tony made his car payment on Tuesday, he deposited a check for $295.76. If he deposited it, what does he do? He adds it. So I'm going to add $295.76. Well, if you notice, it's different signs, so what do you end up doing? Subtracting and keeping the sign of the bigger number. Which one has the higher absolute value? 295 or 204? So I know my answer is going to be positive. So over here, I'm just going to come over here and subtract. 295.76. Oh gosh. Minus 204.20. 6 minus 0 is 7 minus 2 is 5. Bring down my decimal. 5 minus 4 is 1. 9 minus 0 is 0. So I've got $91.56. He's no longer in debt, so we have $91.56. Now what? He withdrew. So what does withdrew mean? Take out. You can go to the ATM and withdraw money, which means you're going to subtract. So I'm going to subtract 40. 6 minus 0 is
6.
5 minus 0 is 1 minus 0. 9 minus 4.
5.
So right now he's got $51.56. But he does one more thing. What else does he do?
Subtract 35.
Okay? He bought gas. If he bought gas, that means he spent money, so I subtract. Minus $35.99. Can I subtract 9 from 6?
No.
So I have to borrow. 16 minus 9 is?
6.
Can I take 9 from 4?
No.
So I need to borrow. What's 14 minus 9?
5.
5. Can I take 5 from 0? So now I've got 10 minus 5 is?
5.
And 4 minus 3 is? 1. So my answer is 1557. So if I was to use that in context, how could I say that?
57.
What's the stat say? Tony's balance. There you go. On Tuesday is $15.57. Very good.